I'm traveling Armenia and I would like to see more than just the capital city of Yerevan. The city in question was a hub of craftsmanship and arts, a significant major center for Russian troops during the Ottoman times and the largest city of Russian-ruled Eastern Armenia. It sits in the rolling hills of the northwestern edge of Armenia, a few hours by Marshrutka coming from Yerevan. This is the city of Gyumri. Despite its deep culture and history, it also has an exodus of many of its citizens after the earthquake razing many of its important buildings to the ground. Some sections of the city still maintain their eerie ghost-like ambience. I'm still going there and taking you guys along as it remains the second largest city of Armenia.
So I managed to arrive in Gyumri right now. It was quite a hassle at the bus station because at first they didn't want to take me because of my luggage. But I managed to get on the stupid bus and now I'm finally here and I will explore Gyumri. It was very difficult because they gave me the worst seat and my suitcase was just rolling up and down in the little aisle, and thankfully some people left towards the end so I could change and be less worried when they braked, because they were definitely braking really hard towards the end of the trip when I was like stuck in the seat that had no protection in front of it. But I managed to survive and I just like booked a cheap hostel, a private room with a shared bathroom, and I'm going to check it out.
There was not so much time for a first impression of the city. I just could walk around a little bit and drop off my stuff quickly after I found a place to stay. But it was soon time to just go figure out where I was going to find some vegan food, which is always a challenge when I am traveling around.
So, I'm in Gyumri right now. Some places here almost feel like they look like they could be straight from some World War II scene that I didn't capture it on film. I'm just trying to get some dinner and head towards the restaurant right now. That should have some typically veganized Armenian food, so that's what I'm gonna be trying if I can make it there on time. It closes in 1.5 hours. Should be like 25-minute walk, so I should be fine.
I had found an incredible authentic restaurant called Guk Gastro-House. With stunning wood visuals and an incredible and budget-friendly menu, this became my go-to spot during my few days in Gyumri. The pilaf could be requested without butter, so I had that as my main every single time and it was very delicious. So I ate the ashad pilaf. I also tried shrof, but the dried fruit in it was not my taste. Then my next go-to was the avaluk soup. It was made with mountain spinach, sorrel, bulgur, onions, and vegetable oil. The taste was very unique. Last but not least, I also always try to get the vegetarian pasas dolma. It is a combination of beans, lentils, peas, and bulgur wrapped in a big piece of steamed cabbage. Unfortunately, in one visit, they were already sold out. I enjoyed my visits and the lady taking my order spoke good English as well. The ambience was incredibly cozy.
$14 a night. I shouldn't forget the key here. But it really feels almost a little bit like a prison, and it echoes so much. The hallway is so dark. The bathroom is so dark. It's so cold. The water ran out late at night as well. So I'm just like quickly packing everything up again to go to a better room because I need some peace of mind and explore Gyumri properly before my whole plan falls apart basically. So it's time to already say goodbye to this little room, even though I did get a free upgrade because the other room had like some American. There's like a key lock on the outside and you look like this on the inside. But the American that was in the room before me had forgotten the key. So I got free room upgrade because I absolutely refused to stay in a room without a key. But like, it's okay. And I'm just, I think his wife was also here and they're arguing because I want to leave this place because I was like, yeah, you're a very nice person, but I changed of plans and it's a little bit dark and scary at night at this place, so I want to leave. And I've also a friend who's calling me over, and now I think he's arguing with his wife. Yeah, this is not great. Well, I guess it's good when I'm leaving because when I woke up, I straight up like felt something sharp and just literally pulled out a feather. And this, like, what is this? I'm not sure. So, time to leave. So I managed to now make it to Gyumri Hotel. It's a bit more pricey, but I was starting to value my sanity right now. So here I am, just Gyumri Hotel.
Indeed, I'd left my original stay and had gotten to my new accommodation. The area was quite bare, which I didn't know at first was from the earthquake, so it put me off guard. However, my new place was a lot more comfortable, so I settled in for the next few nights. And I could still see the view of many looming mountains in the distance, which I quite enjoyed. It was time to officially hit up the town to properly check it out. First up was the Varden Square, adorned by a few churches. On the eastern side we have the city hall. In the middle you find a memorial to the Battle of Avariar, which was one of the first battles fought in the defense of the Christian faith. The Persians who were the opposite side of the battle only gained a Pyrrhic victory. The Armenians were allowed to continue to practice their faith freely, and it's also considered one of the first major events of Armenian history. First church I checked out was the Cathedral of the Holy Mother of God, or also known as Our Lady of Seven Wounds. It is a very beautiful apostolic church. The inside was quite busy as the locals all drop in at random times, beautifully decorated with gold and blue tones.
So just now I was at the Cathedral of the Holy Mother, which is an Armenian apostolic church, I believe, or cathedral from 140 years ago. So I'm finally out exploring Gyumri, and having been in the wrong accommodation took a huge toll on me because I really did not get a good night of rest and I was just really exhausted. But now I'm just in this giant square and there's like a few things around here which are cool to see. And there is another Armenian apostolic church which is at least 150 years old. But it's kind of funny because the other one is right across the square. And also Gyumri City Hall is right there. So it's a huge square. And then here immediately you have another apostolic church.
The second church was at the opposite end of the square on the south side. During the 1850s, an American Catholic church and a Greek Orthodox church were constructed. However, the devotees of the Armenian Apostolic Church felt insulted. They resolved to build a bigger church right in the middle of the two churches and make it much more imposing and marvelous to look at. Nowadays you can't see the old neighboring churches. I assume they were taken down with the earthquake, like many parts of Gyumri's history. The history of the city runs deep. The Armenian kingdom had been divided at some point during history into an Ottoman part and a Russian part. With the conflicting religions of Turkey's Islam and Armenia's Christianity, Armenians on the Ottoman side of their ancient kingdom ended up slowly getting persecuted. When they decided to fight back, that's when the Ottoman Empire sped up the process. It is considered genocide despite not many countries willing to recognize it. Due to historic events, Gyumri even became the most populated city in the Russian-controlled part, with refugees arriving day by day from the Ottoman side. However, Yerevan overtook Gyumri's population by quite a lot, and not much later an earthquake destroyed massive chunks of the city. Nowadays, the city boasts a mere 10% of what the capital's population entails. So much so that famous rock musicians had set up the project Rock 8 Armenia, including one of my favorite guitarists, Black Sabbath's Tony Iommi. One of the projects was to rebuild the destroyed music school of Gyumri. One place that never got such treatment was the Polytechnic University. All the buildings still remain razed to the ground. One interesting piece of art did survive the terror of these events: the Iron Fountain.
And outside of the city center, you can take a taxi ride, maybe like 10 minutes up north, and you will find this Soviet architecture fountain that somehow survived the 1988 earthquake. So there was a huge earthquake here, and that's apparently why there's so many destroyed buildings. And this used to be the centerpiece of a university complex, but this university complex was completely destroyed in 1988, but somehow this monument, which was the centerpiece, somehow still survived. And it's quite a crazy place because you see the destroyed buildings, which I assume were part of the campus, and the mountains in the distance. So yeah, it's a bit sad, but this is like a really cool spot. But there's just a lot of destruction around me here. And out here, there are just mountains and nothing left. If I had to guess, I think that is the university campus that must have been destroyed. But there's really nothing out here. I also don't know how to get close to the building, so I'm not going there. And there's so many dogs barking here. This is just a crazy scene. Waiting for a taxi right now to quickly get me to the city center. So you have this taxi app, GG Taxi. I finally managed to download it. I had to put in my old Dutch SIM card again just to be able to download it, because even though I kept my number on the Armenian SIM card, it would not allow me to sign up to this app. And it's very convenient to get around Armenia like this. And now I'm finally rushing off to go see some stuff. So I made my way up right now to the place where is the Black Fortress and another Mother of Armenia statue. And you can see the mountains behind me. And Sefbart, or Sefbert, the Black Fortress, which was built 8 kilometers away from the Turkish border in response to the Turkish-Russo War 200 years ago, and is basically a giant abandoned fortress on top of a hill near another personification statue of Armenia, which is basically just like the one in Yerevan, the Mother of Armenia statue.
Next on is another part of Gyumri's history, the Black Fortress or Sefbert, the Armenian name the locals call it by, meaning the same as its English counterpart. The start of the fortress build were late in 1834, 21 years after Armenia became part of the Russian Empire due to the Treaty of Gulistan. Treaty saw the ceding and inclusion of Dagestan, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan into the Russian Empire from Iran. Russia quickly started building in its new territories. Sefbert was never under siege, but remained an important factor of strategic importance against the Turks, such as the Russo-Turkish War in 1877.
It's an absolutely massive place that's now just like a free tourist attraction, and it's pretty neat. I really like it. And after this I can immediately walk to the Mother of Armenia statue, which are all conveniently very close by to each other.
So yeah, it's crazy what you can find here in the middle of the mountains in Armenia. But it's a pretty neat space. And it's really a pity that this town is starting to run empty, because I think this is like a highly industrial town back in the Soviet times, but now the population has started to leave. But you can still find gems like this in small place like this, Armenia.
Looks like another eternal flame that should be burning for the unknown soldier, like they had in Yerevan. However, this one is not working. And then there's the fist, very Soviet style, and also 1941 to 1945, which are the years of World War II, which started in 39 and finished in 45. And the personification of Mother Armenia once again.
So behind me you can immediately see the Black Fortress where I was earlier, and I'm surrounded by a lot of landscape. And then there's immediately the Mother of Armenia.
I'm also not entirely sure what these things are. Like this one says Brest, which is a city in Belarus, so could there have been Armenian soldiers in Brest? Or is there some connection with the Soviet army? There are like a bunch of these. Sevastopol. Which one is this? Kerch? Okay, I haven't heard of that one. Tula, which is a city in Russia, so they have like all of these tombs, which are former Soviet cities. Odessa, but I've no idea what they are. My first Soviet city, Minsk. How nice. And Leningrad. That's the final one. And now the first one is Moscow. I have no idea what these are. If anybody could tell me, that would be great. This red, strange building that provides some type of lookout point over this absolutely destroyed building, and Ferris wheel distance. It's really strange.
As always, I hope you enjoyed my video. Like, comment, subscribe, feel free to support. And I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching my exploration of this very small city in Armenia, and I hope to see you in the next video.